expectations for Thomas, but how do you think he looked today?
He looked good. I know it's tough with, your minutes are somewhat segmented. So you don't get that long stretch, but just to have him out there, in a live game, just getting a feel for it, getting back to that rhythm, I think it's good for him. And I'd like to see both him and Rui get more of it, as we go. But we'll have to go upon the advice of the medical and see where they are. But I was pleased with where, how he performed and where he is right now.
Do you have kind of like a plan mapped out in your mind in terms of how you're going to go about figuring out who looks good together, how much, I want this guy to play here?
Yeah, it's tough. We all have plans, but it's just tough when, you don't have a ton of practice time to really get a detailed look at it, to try different combinations. Because when you're trying it, it matters. And of course, we have to kind of find a way to get those guys back and get them up to speed. But trying to pick and choose and get the right pairings is tough in this environment. So it's going to be a work in progress. And it's easy to say, hey, we got it on paper, but it's very fluid throughout the game.
How much does Brad being out for the time being make a difference there? Or can you do kind of, because what he does, can you kind of just plug him in and kind of imagine?
As far as he is concerned, yeah, absolutely. But it once again, it affects has a trickle down effect as you're adding one more piece, and he's been a big part of who we are. So that part matters, and how those other guys kind of simulate with him, it just it's going to take time to shake out.
You've had this idea of what TV can add for months, but not seeing it, but actually going to see him out there. What do you think he kind of added?
Well, I think he's another skilled big. He's a big body, moves well. I think he can stretch the defense, beyond three. He can play in the post, so I think he has a different dimension. But, right now I don't want to, heap too much on him, and for him to overthink it. I think his energy is infectious. He's going to play hard and hopefully, anchor our defense a bit. So I'm eager to see how it unfolds, but, I don't have a ton of expectations to, my priority right now is play hard, play together.
And for Trez in LA, he had a pretty big situation and he kind of learned how to figure that out. But for him to face it again, what do you have?
No, it's not ideal, but I talked to those guys and it is what it is. And there's no, finesse way to do it right now. Obviously the mint restriction kind of helps, but I think it's a good problem to have, that we can pick and choose and see how it works. And guys that are playing well at that point in the game, they'll continue. So it's not ideal for those individuals, but I think we're in a great shape organizationally. And of course, as a team, gives us a lot of depth and flexibility.
You kind of alluded to this pregame, but with Thomas coming back, you obviously haven't seen him play really in a few games now. How much of a feeling out process is it for you, just kind of seeing where you can put guys, what different situations you can put guys in throughout the year?
Yeah, that once again takes time. We've had 40 plus games with a core group of players. So we've added to some of the offensive package. We tweaked some things and added different wrinkles. Because we see now what best serves them. So to just kind of plug those guys in what we have, it would have to stay somewhat limited, just for their own comprehension. But as we go, it's easy. Oh, he obviously likes the right block. He wants to get to his left hand. Finding ways to use what we have to augment their ability and put them in the correct spots.
I know you're happy to win, but to see that performance on the defensive boards, how much does that detract from just how you felt the team played?
Well, aside from the first possession when they got 7 offensive rebounds, it wasn't terrible. Some of those were timely, of course, but I think 18 for 18 points, 1-to-1 ratio isn't awful, but yes, the 18 is a bit high. It's just got to be an area of concentration that, we hesitate at times, we ball watch, and those possessions a lot of times can hurt you. So, I thought defensively solid. I thought we did a lot of good things. Second half, they picked it up. They were much more aggressive, obviously, but the rebounding component, it's one of those things. It's not just on the bigs, and it just has to be a collective mindset.
How do you size up Thomas as a defender?
You know what? It's still for me. I'm not going to put a judgment. I think he's going to be a really good defender. But you know, I think he just has to kind of learn the nuances of what we do. You know, some of the terminology he's still picking up, the levels that we want him at in pick and rolls. I think, you know, depending on the scheme, he's going to have to kind of figure that out. A lot of that just comes with reps. So it's going to take some time for him to get comfortable with some of those things. But I think he'll be solid.
Ways to grow as a defender, even though you're not playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's important especially for young players, just learning the league, you know, understanding time and score, you know, anticipating some actions, you know, whether it's you guarding a shooter, guarding, you know, a certain type of player, getting ahead of the play and taking away a strength. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, live ball but small-sided 3-on-3 games, you know, and putting guys in different situations, you know, just one-on-one drills, muscle memory things that trigger, you know, so when it does happen live, you're not thinking, you're reacting.
What did you think of Kyle's all-around game? I guess he was 1 assist away from his first career triple.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it until the end. You know, he's been able to rack up a number of, you know, very impressive performances. So it's just another one in the bucket. You know, I obviously we're thrilled that he's playing at such a high level. You know, and he's stepped up obviously with Brad out, and we need it. But you know, I think it's obviously he's making those plays. Guys have to step up and make shots. So I think it's a great, you know, balance. You know, that you know he's able to do those things and do it at a high level for us.
Rui the other night said that it was his decision, that when he felt ready, he kind of went to you and said, okay, I can go tonight. How and with whom did you guys kind of set out your approach to his time off? I imagine that obviously you said many times you want what's best for him, but was there any like nudging along and saying, you know, we're here for you, but here's what we think you should do next? Like, how?
No, that wasn't really with, you know, on our end. You know, I think we were in constant contact with his representation. So, you know, I think we were kind of lockstep with, you know, the progress he was making, where he was, and kind of mapped it out from there. So we were well aware of, you know, kind of the timeline. Obviously, COVID set him back a bit, but there were no real surprises. It was just more of, you know, when he's ready, we kind of earmarked a certain date, and they aligned, and it worked out well.
When did you earmark that date?
That was, you know, weeks ago.
Lying to us the whole time.
Won't be the last time.
Any word on how Brad is feeling?
I haven't spoken to him today. I shot him a text earlier, so I can't answer that question. But I'm hoping he's feeling well, and it's just a, you know, matter of 2 negative tests, and you know, we can move on.
Thank you.
Neil.
Hey, Coach. I know it's not an exact science, but how many games does it take for you to kind of feel out who you have available before you cut down the rotation?
Well, a lot of that's going to, you know, depend on how these guys respond from a medical standpoint. You know, upon the advice of the, you know, medical staff, they'll tell us, you know, can we ramp minutes up? And, you know, it's tough to make a wholesale change, you know, if that's necessary, but, you know, you can't do that until guys are able to play those rotation minutes. So it may take a while. I'm really not sure.
Christos.
Hello, Coach. Hope you're doing well. Coach, tonight was the first back-to-back game of Spencer Dinwiddie this season. How satisfied you are about the effort and the energy overall from him tonight?
No, I think it was another, you know, another good game for him. You know, we had a discussion last night. End of the third, you know, I was like, hey, I got to get you out. And he wanted to keep going, to his credit. And he was defending well. He's playing well at that point. But, you know, I'm looking ahead. It's like, I need you in the fourth, and I'm definitely going to need you tomorrow. And to see that he's available, his knee has responded well, and it doesn't seem to be any hiccups, is great. So we can kind of, you know, push forward, not having, you know, that be a concern for us, you know, or him. So I'm glad things have worked out. He's in a good place. And physically, I think he's been tremendous.
And also, Rui is back. Thomas is back. How that depth you have in front court, how good problem for you is that have those solutions in both.
Yeah, I
ends,
think
in
I think
both
it's a great problem, if you want to call it that. You know, we've talked at length about our depth and the amount of flexibility it gives us, the versatility. You know, it's you know, at times right now uncomfortable because we're trying to play a lot of guys and get guys acclimated. The minutes are a bit choppy because of some of that's the minute restriction, but I think once we kind of get a rhythm, you know, I think it works out in our favor. We have plenty of guys who can play various positions. We can downsize. You can play big, and there's really no drop off. So I'm eager to see how it shakes out. And, you know, I'm certainly glad to have the vast majority of our group back intact.
Thank you very much, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Coach.
It was great. It felt great to be back, just to be out there with the team, play with them, you know, try and get a flow back with them and everything. So it felt great.
What was the lead up like, I guess, today? What were the emotions you were feeling?
My emotions were out of pocket. I was just trying to stay real calm and collective throughout the whole day, just all the way up to the game.
How do you feel physically afterwards?
I feel great. I feel great physically. My win is still under me. My legs feel great. My knee feels great. Overall, I just really feel fantastic. Like I feel well conditioned as well.
Do you have like a routine that you kind of do? How good did it feel just to do that? Like, what do you kind of do pre-game to get yourself ready?
Well, I do a lot of stuff, especially for my lower body extremities and everything, and core work, and just getting into that flow and that rhythm of just being able to do that, and then actually putting that into the game. It just felt great.
And you were on the bike, just getting ready. Like,
Yeah.
Are you kind of faster or anything?
Yeah, not too fast, not too fast. Just try to keep my body warm. That's the main thing.
What was the biggest challenge for you over the last 2 months?
Shoot, the biggest challenge for me is really just trying to stay patient for this moment. A lot of times where you just feel great, you just want to hop up and play with the team right then and there, but you know, you gotta stay disciplined with what you have to do. So I think that was the biggest thing for me.
And who were you able to find that patience all on your own?
Oh yeah.
Who was your best patience advisor?
Well, a lot of it came from me of just like trying to stay the course and trying to stay level-headed throughout this injury and everything. And then a lot of my friends and family helped me a lot as well. Just, you know, being there with me, talking with me, and, you know, just being there for my best interest.
Thomas, how do you feel like the time away affected you as a player, as a person?
Man, it's tough being away from something that you love so much. And you know, like I said before, you almost have a newfound of like appreciation and a whole newfound of love for the game of basketball when you get it back, and when you're able to do it and when you're able to do what you love, you kind of cherish it even more now.
And you got a great look on the first shot. What did you kind of think of that going in and just the rest of your stuff?
No, I shot it because it was open. I wasn't even planning on shooting. I wasn't even planning on shooting that first shot, but luckily it came my way. So.
Thomas, you obviously have a new coach this year. You didn't really get to play a lot last year. So Wes kind of talked about the difficulties of really kind of figuring out where you fit in and kind of things like that. I mean, what's your process been like with Wes, just as, you know, everybody else has had a half a season, training camp, preseason? How have you kind of blended with him so far?
I've been blending with him really good, periodically on and off the court. He's been to almost every workout that I've had. He's seen the preparation. He's seen me play live, and all the way up to today. So I feel like we're in a good spot. You know, of course, it's going to take some time and, you know, gain some chemistry between each other and everything. But it's a great set.
The three of you guys as centers, you guys can all do different things. How helpful is that? Just have for a team?
Oh, it's helpful so much because you can just like, it's always next man up, and no matter down the line, you can always look at me, Gaff, Montrezl, and know that you're going to get the best out of us every night. So there's no layoff on either one of us.
Honestly, was it easy for you to kind of keep the blinders on? There was so much going on around you with the team, and I'm sure you were thinking about like, well, where am I going to fit in, and what this new coach going to be like? Was that easy for you to kind of keep your mind on the recovery stuff?
Well, yeah, it was easy for me because for me it was just trying to make sure that I can control what I can control and just make sure that I'm ready for whatever that's coming out of there. You know, there's different things that we have to go through in life. And, these are just another obstacle that you have to go through. And what I really try to focus on is just control the controllables.
How cool was it that when you checked in to hear your name announced and the crowd, and I don't know if you heard it, or what was that like for you?
Man, it was great. I couldn't help but smile, and I tried not to smile when I was out there, but I couldn't help but smile because, like I said, it's been so long, and just from a year, just be able to hear that again, it just brings back memories, and then it also has me prepared to make new ones.
So what do you think is next for you? What would you like to, I guess, do like a checklist of what's the next goal for you?
Next goal for me is just keep sustaining my energy, keep sustaining what we have here, and just continue to help this team win. That's the biggest thing right then and there. There's no step forward or anything like that unless it's with the team.
And how cool was it when you went in and immediately matched up against Rolo, an old teammate, and matching up against other old teammates as well, Mo and Sko? Was there any banter? What was that all like?
No, it was not too much banter. It was guys just telling me congratulations and happy to be back and everything. And it was fun to go at those guys a little bit, seeing them on the other team instead of us always going at it in practice before. So it was good.
Did you immediately trust the knee back? I feel like when athletes sometimes come back from that, they're like, until you do it for the first time, you're still like, oh my gosh, it's gonna come out. From
Nah, I completely trust it. I've gotten over that. I got over that hump a real long time ago because I just never try to go out there and play injured. Like, you go out there and play injured, then you're gonna get injured. That's my mentality about it. So just try to go out there and just play my game the way I know how to, and don't think about the surgical knee and everything like that because it's as good as brand new. Why should I worry?
Neil.
Hey, Thomas. First off, welcome back. For you, when you spent the time, a few months, how have you gotten to learn your new teammates? The team talked a lot about chemistry and just building that foundation early in the year.
Well, it's real big. A lot of it was with me just being a part of practice, being a part of games, being a part of shoot-arounds, and everything that we talked about. I tried to be a sponge and just try and grasp all the information that they talked about, and then just watching my guys out there when they're playing, it's just seeing their tendencies of how they like to play, where they like the balls, and just how they like to play overall as a team out there. So it was good. It's just a learning experience for right now, the first game back, but I know we're getting more chemistry as time goes on.
Do you feel like terminology wise, knowing all the plays, knowing all the schemes on defense, you're, pretty well caught up and, it's not that hard of an adjustment to make now on the fly?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been doing my film work. So I've been knowing the plays and defensive coverages, and I try to pay attention as much as I can when I'm out there, even when I was out.
Thanks, TB.
All right, that's all the time I got for TB tonight. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
What were your just impressions of Thomas Bryant, just getting to know him before this, and how do you think he did?
I kind of knew TB before this, just in general with us working out with Rico together, and, getting after it in the summer, even going through numerous amount of workouts leading up to this situation. So I kind of knew how his game was, and I played against him a lot in open runs without training Rico Hines. So I kind of knew what he was going to bring to the table, man. It was just good to see him get back out there and just get back to, being on the court, going through a situation how he went through. I know it kind of just basically killed him for him not to be able to play and having to, just keep, building this back up to get to today, So just good to see him back out there and, for him to knock down his first shot was big.
And, you have another 3-man center rotation that you've dealt with in the past. Does that help you this time around with dealing with something like that?
Honestly, no. But at the end of the day, it's not really up to me to kind of, worry about those situations or, how we're going to figure those things out. Like I said, when I'm out there before, I just play my game to the best of my abilities and do all the little things that help us win the game.
Trez, obviously your moment with KCP became public last night. What happened there, and how, I guess, often is that over the course? Often do things like that happen over the course of an 82-game season?
Who we played last night?
OKC.
We played OKC. We came out with a game plan and we won the game. Next question.
Is that are you and he?
If you ain't talking about the game tonight, then we can end this conversation right now, bro. I'm not about to sit here and do this with y'all. You're not about to get nothing out of me. I told y'all what I said on social media, and that's the end of it. Sham gave y'all something that y'all wanted, so you better try to pick and find your story out of that. Well, look like that's Trey's night to me. Y'all have a good one. Good try, though.